Well, like during my sophomore and junior year, when I was like the first period on like Fridays, I'd always see all these students outside with Mr. McCarthy holding up signs like the honk for peace and stuff like that. So coming into my senior year, I was pretty interested in that, and I heard some stories from past seniors, so I was like, oh, why not take this class?
I chose peace studies because I wanted to learn how we could make a difference in the world by ending war, ending violence, and coming together as a people, as a nation, as the world, and making the world a better place, peacefully.
Well, I'm a strong proponent of nonviolence. I'm anti-war, and I've always sort of been a pacifist. And I was interested in taking the class to see, how could I spread this word of pacifism? So I wanted to take the class to learn certain methods in that regard.
In Peace Studies, we just discuss different ways that we can help be peaceful, and how other people in the past have shown that peace is a really good way to kind of stand up for what you believe in and to represent your side rather than using conflict.
We do a lot of really interesting things in Peace Studies. Mr. McCarthy is really he's a really fun teacher to have. He normally comes in and just brings in something that day. It can be a topic that is in the news that day, or it can just be a topic that he wants to discuss that's in relation to peace. And then he'll just open up to the whole class, so that way everyone can just sit there and kind of hear what he has to say about it, and then also let everyone else interject.
The class is pretty discussion-based, so Mr. McCarthy kind of just brings up different topics that are important in the discussion of peace and violation of peace and such. And we kind of just talk about it in different inspiring stories about different topics. A lot of things that you wouldn't normally think about.
Well, we frequently have cool guest speakers who talk about their experiences.
So in Peace Studies, we learn a lot about how to peacefully demonstrate. Specifically, on Fridays we go out and protest on the corner of East-West Highway and Shelton Street. You'll hear us, we make a lot of noise. So in Peace Studies, it's very discussion-based, and we talk a lot about both past just events, like the Holocaust, for example, and then we also relate it to the present and read a lot of articles from the last 10 years, really, in different publications about things we think are important.
So why does New York intervene in your life?
Because they're communists.
Well, usually we talk about some atrocities that were committed in history, and or some activists, and we'll have some guest speakers come in.
If you have a project, just following every guideline, but actually engaging with your work and really understanding the core concepts of the classes that you're taking.
And also every Friday we'll go out and protest in front of the school on East-West Highway.
What I've taken from this class is that there are little things you can do every day to be more peaceful and make someone else's life more peaceful. Telling someone you love them, having regular conversation, just being engaged with people and really care about what they do, what they aspire to do.
Something to me that really stuck out was a lot that we learned about the meat industry. Obviously, I knew certain parts of it, but we really went into depth with it, and it changed my view on my diet a lot. Some other things where we learned a lot about the peaceful resistance in this little village in France that I had never heard of before, and I think probably should be taught more and emphasized more in history classes. That was really interesting.
Well, I've learned about a couple activists, some saints. I've also learned about, the meat industry and some of the atrocities they do, and the mistreatment of animals.
I've learned that there's a lot of important issues that we don't really learn about in other subjects in school.
One of the most important things that we definitely learned in Peace Studies was alternatives to arguing with people. So ways to diffuse an argument if you get into something with somebody, or just ways to sort of discuss it out with somebody so that way everyone can be happy. And another thing that's definitely like one of the most important things that we learned in the class was that we should tell somebody we love them every day.
Well, I think the biggest thing I learned was Mr. McCarthy's big catchphrase, peace is possible. Before this class, I was never really given the chance to learn the other side of history and the people who opposed wars rather than the countries that were so quick to just attack.
Well, before I took the course, I always thought, you know, if there's a problem, we always have our military to deal with it. But now, by taking the class, I've learned that military should never be the solution. And also, go green, be vegan, save the world.
In peace studies, we learned that animals have rights too, and that there have been multiple different cities and countries that have used peaceful resistance against their enemies and have actually succeeded a lot more. They've been more successful than other countries that have tried to fight using conflict.
My definition of peace is the way that people can solve their conflict in a non-violent manner.
I would define peace as the coexistence of people from all cultures and backgrounds who are able to resolve their differences non-violently.
Peace to me means not fighting with others and just enjoying your life and not trying to cause conflict with other people and getting along with others.
My definition of peace is kindness towards any living thing and towards the earth.
Peace is just being respectful, being kind to everybody, making sure people have a quality standard of living and just like happiness overall.
I feel like I really made a difference today. Really, what? Save lives, one honk at a time. Peace, no war. Go Barons.
And then we debate on, you know, the content. I can keep going. Cut that.
Let me hold it. Oh, wait. I'm ready to go. All right, you ready?
This is basically like for the dudes in the class, like Rush Week is like a very fun week. Basically like all the houses just throw down and have like ridiculous events. Like one of them was like, I'm not gonna say which particular house it was just because like no feds or anything, but like they had this Rush event called Burgers and Blunts. And it was just like a lot of burgers and a lot of blunts.
In Peace Studies, it's really a discussion-based class. We talk a lot about what? Why do we do the same thing in the class? Read a lot of articles. All right, cue the music.
Darling, you